if you ever seen those like bubbles just grow and grow and grow, that's what happens in organizations. And every once in a while, it's good to go in and prune the fat, but no one ever really does it. And so he would have a let it go session, and you'd sit down and you'd brainstorm independently a bunch of ideas of things you do that you think are low value, that no one cares about, that are time consuming.
My father, a long time ago, we were talking, he was like, right, there's 4 things you really need to focus on if you want to be successful at something. However you define success, successful at sports, at a job, at a marriage, whatever. Number 1 is you've got to have ambition. You've got to aspire to be great in some way and be able to define it. My father, a long time ago, we were talking, he was like, right, there's 4 things you really need to focus on if you want to be successful at something. However you define success.
I just made a post on schedule specifications, which to me are manuals to follow, but they're still written like legal documents. To me, that's an opportunity for us, going back to the 2 rocks, to shoot between. And that's, I think, where we want to take Beyond Deadlines in the future, is how can we give you, the stuff and knowledge we've had that you can readily pick up. Books are great. I'm not totally discounting it, but also getting, tastier, easier to eat snacks, Hi, folks. A quick one before we dive into this week's episode. Our book, The Critical Path Career, How to Advance in Construction Planning and Scheduling, is out now, and you can order it on Amazon. We'll include a link below. This is a great way to show support for the Beyond Deadlines podcast, and Greg and I have worked extremely hard taking everything we know in our 30 years of experience, plus everything we've picked up from shooting this podcast, and we've tried to pack it into an information-dense book that you can use right away. In the book, we have specific strategies on how to get a raise, how to get a promotion, and find a new job. We include 26 of the best interview questions that we have come across, in addition to 34 specific impact ideas that you can go use on your projects today. We want to thank everyone who's shown us support so far, and enjoy this week's episode. Welcome to the Beyond Deadlines podcast, where we tackle challenges that planning and schedule leaders come across on a day-to-day basis. My name is Micah Piippo, and I'm the CEO of Movar North America, a project management-based consultancy.
My name is Greg Lawton. I'm the CEO of Nodes and Links, an AI schedule management platform. And today, I am nothing but mischievous. Let's go, Micah.
Uh-oh. Folks, be scared. Today, we're going to talk about the future of Beyond Deadlines. We've been doing this for a little over a year now, and we've been having such a fun time. And we just wanted to have an informal conversation where we talk about the podcast, where it's heading next, some of the ideas we have. And if you like what you hear, have questions, comments, suggestions, we'd love to get your feedback on those. So Greg, Mr. Mischievous, do you want to kick us off and talk a little bit? How about we start this out, talk a little bit about kind of where Beyond Deadlines is at now, and how we got there, basically, just to kind of refresh everybody, and then we'll jump off of like what's happening next.
I think our original thought, taking it back like about 2 years, something like that. Like our original thought was that you and I just wanted to meet amazing people in the industry, and you and I wanted to push how much we knew about the industry. We'd been incredibly privileged in our career so far in having the right mentors, environments, companies, these kinds of things. But there was more people that we could meet and more people that we could learn from. Equally, the comments, like if we said something incorrect, people will comment to us and correct us, which is, it's free learning. Like we spend a bit of time to say something and people correct us. Where we're up to now is, if I remember the numbers correctly, it's like over a million impressions, and I can't remember what number it is, but it's like, depending on how you segment the market, it's like the number 1 podcast in scheduling, whatever that means, by the way, whatever the Spotify and Apple and YouTube platforms tell us. But, and I'm going to say something a little mischievous here, is the learning has started to plateau a little bit. So I feel that we need to do something more to accelerate it further.
Yeah, I would agree with what you're saying. I mean, to me, I just looked at what was available in the market today, what you could pick up. Like if I took myself, rewound the clock about 6 to 8 years, senior scheduler, leading some large projects, what tools and capabilities and knowledge did I have at my disposal? And there wasn't a lot. So I wanted to fill that gap with beyond deadline, share, all the planning and scheduling tactics. But I'm the same way with you, where I feel, we can keep definitely going on this journey, and we still will. But I feel like there are other things we could offer a value and attack. And so I think we have a good audience and a good base. And I think people are still hungry for more potential value we could bring them for free.
Yeah, for free. That's the key thing. The objective here is learning. Whenever we post on LinkedIn, the kind of core question at the heart of it is, can we learn something new about this? So I did a post, I think it was yesterday, and you helped me quite a lot with that post actually, about what planners are. And the key thing there is actually about framing. So just to give an example to people, it was, right, do people consider planners to be something else? And actually the overwhelming response was no, that's pretty much what people consider. Now, here's the thing: is that what they are, or that what they aspire to be in people's minds? Different question altogether. But I think there's a lot more we can do. I want to throw in typical Greg and Beyond Deadlines fashion. I'll throw an equation in here, and it was in my mind before. I was pondering over lunch, and it's a formula for success. Bear with me. Give me a bit of rope. But my father, a long time ago, we were talking. He was like, right, there's 4 things you really need to focus on if you want to be successful at something. However you define success, successful at sports, at a job, at a marriage, whatever. Number 1 is you've got to have ambition. You've got to aspire to be great in some way and be able to define it. Number 2 is you've got to have discipline. If you aspire to be a great weightlifter and you don't turn up to the gym on the regular, probably not going to happen. Number 3 is you actually have to have skill or some learned skills. If you are missing fundamental skills, no amount of ambition and discipline will make up for you lacking skills. You'll have to acquire those skills with that. And number 4 is opportunity, which is, if there just isn't a weightlifting league, or, you've made up a sport and no one competes in it, can you really achieve an element of greatness apart from being the best on the street? Exactly. But I kind of put that here, which is like, maybe we aspire to give all the knowledge away for free that either people need to fight over 15-year careers to learn, or they need to pay people hundreds of thousands of dollars to come in and do, that we can do scalably. And what I mean by that is, we can't give away the knowledge of how a specific project in New York needs to be able to accelerate itself. And, it's like, okay, what are the things that are replicable between all projects that are very competent planning skills you need to deliver? Maybe we just give those away for free. And then we see with the feedback that people give us what's useful, what's not, and what we got wrong and what people like. Don't know.
There are 2 rocks, I think, that we could sail between. The rock on one side is corporate, you work at a company, tribal knowledge, the only stuff can't really leave the company. And then on the other rock is your certification-based organizations, your AACE, your PMIs. There's a load of wealth and information there, but it isn't project specific at all. And so that's, to me, kind of our future, us sailing between those 2 rocks of how do we achieve that goal of giving people tactics, tools, stuff they can pick up and use right away without becoming a certification-based organization, trying to reinvent what's already been invented there, or, being so project specific that maybe it's not relevant for people today. I think those are, to me, those are the 2 rocks, and we're trying to shoot between them to kind of give people more of what they could use.
We've accidentally done a little bit of this, by the way, with the book that's going out in September, The Physics of Project Acceleration, because that actually started with a bit of a thought experiment, and then it kind of just ballooned. And then we were thinking, well, we might as well properly publish this and do something with it. Neither of us make our money from selling books.
To the Vanna White comes through if it hasn't been cropped down.
Neither of us make our money doing this. It's more just to pay for the book and the editing and things. But I think that's probably the first big batch. But I think as we go forward, like that was a huge amount of work. Like that was thousands of hours of work. And I'm like, you and I know there are simpler things that you can bucket and give away that are still incredibly professional, that don't have to be a 200-page textbook on all of the physics of how you accelerate major capital projects.
Well, and no offense to your book, but I think people are going to struggle to sometimes pick it up and use it. You know what I mean? Like
I don't know, it's pretty good. Thanks, man.
Don't critique my book. But I think you know what I mean, where
Maybe.
if you have a section on, the last one I was reading was tactics versus strategy and the timeline continuum of tactics versus strategy. That is a concept that someone can grasp if they had flipped to chapter 9 and gone 3 to 4 pages in. It's different to say, hey, here is your overarching schedule strategy, where it's a combination of
right.
plan for the plan, the basis of schedule, the schedule management plan. To me, also, where I think this is going is every document that I just said, where I go find it is been around for 20 years and it needs a refresh. I just made a post on schedule specifications, which to me are manuals to follow, but they're still written like legal documents. To me, that's an opportunity for us, to going back to the 2 rocks, to shoot between. And that's, I think, where we want to take beyond deadlines in the future, is how can we give you, the stuff and knowledge we've had that you can readily pick up. Books are great. I'm not totally discounting it, but also getting, tastier, easier to eat snacks. Yours is the 20-year aged filet mignon that we got to wait a little bit for to kind of unpack. And I think it's just a mixed medium of everything as well, too. So there's some stuff that's our 1,000-hour stuff, and there's some stuff that is, all the way down to just, hey, here's a quick tactic, but it's more relatable, implementable than implement potatoes that we can go do. I think to me, that I think is where we're going to find a lot of interesting scenarios and situations.
No, I actually really agree with that. Like, I'm not I'm proud of the book because I actually wrote a book, and I'm like, I promised myself when I left university I'd never write a book. I did physics and astronomy. It was all sums. I didn't write.
Jump on a podcast where someone trashes your book and is like,
well, I'm fine. But like books. So when we start the podcast, we say tactics and strategies that you can implement right away. The book is more on the strategy front, as in it's really a book about how you think about specific things. And yes, it's got very defined techniques that you can use, but it's not a tactic. And I define a tactic as something that I can write in a context-specific way. So here is a project management plan. Insert your project's name, and make some tweaks, and it's good to go. I'd agree with that. That like a whole library of that stuff is incredibly useful, and just having it so that people can download it, take it, and run with it is spot on.
Yeah, I think that's where so. That's our future. I think that's where we're headed. I think for the audience, where we need your help is, what are those topics that you want us to tackle? We have some ideas for it. We think we kind of know some of the ones we want to go do. I've already shot, and I'll link it, but I've done, this is how you forecast a project. We've done, this is how you get something approved. Mm-hmm. That was actually one of my favorite episodes. We may have to do another one of those where, do you remember those trash I brought in? And you're like, I'm going to fire you. And I would be like, well, it'll be the first time. Just kidding. Mm-hmm. And so, any ideas that y'all have out there, please share with us so we can start kind of looking at how to grow that out, because that's another one that I think we should chat about, is how do we do it? Because to me, it's very hard to get, like people to a website where these things are listed. Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of the age-old conundrum these days of like, how do you get people to your resource site and get people there? And then I don't know, I just, to me, I get a little bit cringy because I start thinking about what already exists out there, and every time I go to where it exists, I'm like, oh,
Well, I think the answer to that is that, like, it's not about the website. Well, number one, it's about the downloadable thing, the tangible thing. So, like, and this, yeah, to the audience, tell us what you want us to write for you. That's the thing. Because it's like, is it a project management plan? Is it a baseline specification? Is it a quantitative schedule risk analysis methodology? Is it a forecasting methodology? Like, the things that you want, like, you can deploy in your organization, whack your logo on, tweak a couple of things that you like, and then it's good to go. So number one is it's about the asset. And then number two, we live in the age of ChatGPT and AI and all of these things. So I think that we need a place to store it, which is the internet, because you can store things there. But so long as we make it so that, ChatGPT and can pick it up and source it, and people know what to ask for, and we make it, we post it on LinkedIn and a bunch of places. I think that's it. Kind of does the job. The other thing as well is, I think we need to make sure we're serving people who listen to this the best way. In that some people like watching stuff, some people like listening stuff, some people like reading stuff. So if we write a document, we should shoot a podcast, and we should shoot a like a YouTube video, so that people can digest it in any which way they.
That's, I also think that people are from different stages, and I think that
Yeah.
that will help people meet at the different stages, where if you shoot a specification type document and you give the people the specification, some of the senior schedulers will be able to just grab it and run off with it, and they'll be happy as a clam. But then there'll be others that need to learn about it, and they can see the finer points of that specification. So I think that'll help meet more people where they are, who are trying to tackle this, tackle these challenges and things like that. Um, here's one for you. Anything we're going to stop doing.
Oh, anything we're gonna stop doing?
This is, while you ponder, this is one of my favorite exercises to do on projects. It was first brought to me by Matt Krask,
Oh, tactics and strategies right away.
director of Google Project Controls, but he would do these sessions maybe every 6 months, because organizations create stuff and you think good ideas are good ideas and you keep moving forward. And it's kind of, like, if you ever seen those like bubbles just grow and grow and grow, that's what happens in organizations. And every once in a while, it's good to go in and prune the fat, but no one ever really does it. And so he would have a let it go session, and you'd sit down and you'd brainstorm independently a bunch of ideas of things you do that you think are low value, that no one cares about, that are time consuming. And then we'd put a ball up on the board, and we'd actually agree, we're just going to stop doing this. And we would figure out ways to do it. And then there's two strategies to stop doing it. One, you keep doing it, but don't share it. So if no one comments on it, doesn't matter. And then the second one is you actually go around and try and get people to agree to stop doing it, because then it frees up time for more valuable tasks. So, Greg, what are we going to stop doing?
I think it's the how we're doing the podcast now in its totality. And what I mean by that is, so we put out an episode once every 2 weeks at the moment. The episodes we try to be about 25 to 40 minutes long, so it's really good to listen as a podcast when you're in the gym, or washing the dishes, or on a morning walk, or whatever. What I'm thinking there is, to prep for that, we will invite a guest. We'll do about 2-3 hours of prep work, thinking of ideas, and then we'll actually record the episode. And then there's post editing. In that entire process, it's probably about 6 hours of work. Now, if we're actually creating assets, that's going to be contained within those. So let's just say that the work of creating the asset, then creating the videos and the podcast of us explaining the asset, and then maybe us interviewing someone relating to the asset is double the amount. It might mean that actually the frequency of podcast reduces, maybe one every 3 weeks, something like that. But we're able to up the work and the quality of the output. What it does mean is that we probably might not shoot random episodes, though those are quite fun. So I just have to, that would be my answer, would be the frequency and or pejorative content of the podcast.
That's why this is hard, and it always is, because it's hard to let go. I don't know. To me, is the 2 week engagement, is the quality going to be that good that it's going to cover the week we're missing? I don't know. It's life's an experiment.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what people say. We'll have to see what people behave. If no one cares and no one listens, then we know our answer. If we get loads of messages of love, we know our answer. If we get loads of messages of hate, I blame you.
One thing I have let go, and I'll continue to let go, is the corporate page on LinkedIn. So Beyond Deadline's corporate page, I just haven't really been maintaining it and updating it. I think when I looked at the data for it, corporate pages don't really do very well compared to personal pages for a lot of various reasons. It looks like the algorithm just downvotes it. For a while, when my personal follower count and the corporate follower count were pretty close, a couple weeks apart, I posted the exact same post, and one post got 60 likes, K impressions. The other one on the actual corporate page was like 6 likes and basically no impressions. So I think when this is, something that we're doing on our own time, we need to concentrate where value is. And unfortunately, I just don't see that as being like a big winner for corporate pages. So that's something that I'd let go.
A funny thing on that, and I get your opinion on this, because we've talked about it a little bit on text, but we've never actually talked about it. So you and I are doing this for the sake of learning. It's lovely that I love when people message me and ask me questions, and I love that people find our content useful enough or just interesting enough to actually spend some of their valuable time in their day looking at it. I don't personally care about any kind of impressions or likes, though, as it's just a measure of, are we producing valuable stuff? But in terms of a social popularity, I don't have Instagram, I don't have Facebook, I didn't even have MySpace back in the day. None of that. But one of the things I have seen is people directly copying our style and what we're trying to say. And that tells me that we're two things. One, we're producing something that resonates with people. And two is that a bunch of people just want profile and some kind of persona and fame. I find that really weird, by the way.
It's strange. But it's cool. I mean, when you get big, that someone would actually saw your stuff and then replicate it. I love it. I always think it's super awesome. And I always love when people reach out. I'm a human being, and I try and be as helpful as I possibly can, reaching out. I think, I really thrive off of specific career advice type scenarios and specific technical type scenarios. I have some job opportunities, but it is sometimes hard to find people jobs when they reach out. And if that's all they're interested in, it's like sometimes I have some stuff available, sometimes we don't, but I can always help try and point you in the right direction. So yeah, I love it when people reach out with just about anything, and it just shows the kind of impact and presence we have that we're building in the industry. Speaking of respecting people's time, about 25 minutes into this bad boy, we should think about starting to wrap it up. I just want to, really encourage people to reach out on whatever platform you are on, drop those ideas down of what you need help with, help us, help you. Greg, any final thoughts?
First of all, thank you to everyone who's listened to any of our stuff so far, and actually massive thank you to the people who've reached out and actually give us ideas. I'd just say that if you really want to reach out and ask a question or contact, for me personally, LinkedIn's the best thing because that's the only platform I'm really on.
Same.
Just give us a message. I might take a while to get back to you because, every IT company from a certain part of the world reaches out to me every single day offering some kind of service. So I have to filter them.
Man.
Yeah. But I will definitely read it and get back at some point.
Don't start your LinkedIn message offering me company financing because I know.
Mine is an outsourced IT service. It's like, would you like an outsourced IT service? No, I would not.
With those is they have to be making money off of someone, because
maybe
how do you reach out to that many people?
I just wouldn't. They won't listen to this, but I'm hoping that some kind of large language model picks this up, because it's a bugbear of mine, because I get like 5 a day.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, I run a venture capital funded deep technology startup that has incredible competence at software engineering and artificial intelligence. Why would we outsource building of the core code to some random operation? Like, how do you know the code's security compliant? How do you know the artificial intelligence is going to behave the way you want it? Like, it's never going to happen. Please stop messaging me.
All right. To bring this back around, though, to messaging us, feel free to reach out with your ideas, your comments, your feedback. We would love to hear from you, and we just really appreciate everyone watching the show. I hope you enjoyed kind of us sharing a little bit what's in our brains about where we think this is headed, and we kind of want to build this out in the open with everyone. So, we look forward to you signing in each week and seeing what we're going on. But from us, from Beyond Deadlines, be sure to message Greg about his IT needs, and feel free to message
Oh crap, I'm going to get so many messages now from people. Damn it.
And feel free to message me about all your company financing needs. All right. Have a great week, and we'll see you on the next one.